So comment, subscribe, dislike, or like. Check out the links in the descriptions for other of my sites, other activities that I'm involved in. Got a whole bunch of Facebook groups you can check out. I play multiple card games, so I do music among other things, so check out the links in the description. This is my Hatchhyack Negative Energy Red Unison deck. One copy of the leader. 4 Ocean Shenron, 4 Sin Shenron, 4 Haze Shenron, 4 Isis Shenron, 4 Dr. Leche, 4 Goku Adventure Begins, 4 4-Star Ball, 4 Power Burst, 4 Max Power Kamehameha, 4 Mystic Talismans, 4 Golden Frieza Ninja 17 Unison, 4 Piccolo Jr. Descendant of the King, 4 Baby Juvenile Parasite, 4 Jiren Legend of Universe 11, and 4 Vegito Unison of Night. Right. One of the key unisons in the deck is Baby Juvenile Parasite, because of his ability to just literally take your opponent's battle card and place it under the card, and then it can, with its second permanent, it can use that battle card as a way of protecting itself, so that way you don't lose a marker, and then it'll stick on the field longer, which is always good, especially for you to keep taking battle cards. And of course, you'll do stuff like use a reusable blocker, negates, that kind of stuff to defend yourself, but then use this to get rid of the battle card. So it's not enough to just block attacks. You want to get rid of whatever it was attacking, right? Especially if it's battle cards. And then that reduces your opponent's ability to clap back, right? That means your opponent has to what's that term? Put more resources on the board. So that way they can't just sit on a couple cards. They have to keep putting stuff on board because you're just going to keep taking it away, right? And then if you use this, like I said, if you use this to take a battle card and use this to warp one of your opponent's battle cards when it attacks, it greatly increases chance of board control. And that's the main thing you're just going to be doing. Obviously a considerable amount of board control, and then just be swinging at your opponent. We have we got the negative energy, the shadow dragons. Like in the yellow build, obviously Oceanus is a blocker and negates an attack, and has the floodgate ability of when your opponent attacks, they mill 4 cards. Sin Shenron, obviously is a blocker with barrier, and it has double strike, deflect, so it has all good keyword skills, and it's a 20k, and it has this active main / active battle. Once per turn, spirit boost ability by removing 1 marker from one of your unisons. This can switch itself from rest to active mode, which causes your opponent to mill 1 card. And then, of course, you can use this to block more than 1 attack turn. Because you'll use it to block an attack, then trigger its active battle ability, remove a marker from one of your unisons, restand it so that way you could use it to block a secondary attack. Then we have Haze Shenron, which has critical blocker, has the auto that when it attacks lets you wipe one of opponent's battle cards, and then at the end of the turn switch it to active mode, so that way you can attack with it and block with it, which is always good to be able to do. Attack and block every turn. Gotta keep your defenses upright, and it has crit, so your opponent's not benefiting from this, dealing them damage. So there's some hand control there. Then we have Isis Shenron, which has its barrier blocker. At the end, it has second auto. At the end of your turn, switch to attack mode, so that way you can obviously use this to attack, and then switch attack to also you can block. And it's a barrier blocker, which can be very important in situations where you're trying to avoid your opponent trying to get rid of your blocker. It's good to have barrier. Plus, it having barrier is just good in general. Because it will be. I've been in some scenarios where I needed something to have barrier. Barrier came in handy, so gotta like having stuff that has barrier. Then we have, Dr. Leche. It's a blocker. Active main, pay 2. Play it back from your drop. Just for 2 energy. You mill 2 cards when you play them. So don't use them too much. Use them enough. Goku Adventure begins. 4-star ball. For the endless combo strategy of being able to combo defensively. Essentially, without actually giving up any of your good resources. It's good to discard fodder for, Shianas. You can always add it back to your hand for Goku Adventure Begins effect. And it's a good card to discard for any discard effects, especially against hand control. So this is a good way to mitigate your opponent's hand control abilities. The more Gokus you have in play, the more balls you can grab. Power Burst, negate attack. Right? You can play it for free by taking a life if you have 5 or more cards in your drop. Nice Power Command. That's to negate attack. You can add it back to your hand after you play by warping 4 cards from your drop. And it has an active main where you can warp when your opponent's back card that's energy cost is higher than their energy. Mystic Talisman. Counterattack, negates an attack, and then you can choose up to one of your battle cards and negates plus 5k power until the end of your next turn, which is really useful. So basically, it's like the Sensor Beam, but for any of your blockers. Obviously, a good blocker to use it on is Sin Shinron, because it'll be a 25k blocker until the turn. Well, until your next turn. So the next turn will be 25k double strike that you could potentially swing with. Obviously, being able to play 2 of these in a single turn would be nice, because that's 10k power for the duration of the turn for any one of your, well, until the next turn, I keep saying, end of turn, until the end of your next turn for any of your battle cards. So it's a really nice little tech card right there. Then we have Frieza, Android 17 Unison. It has Empowered 2, so you can gain 2 markers from the previous Unison when you play this. Auto Burst 1, so you mill the top card of your deck. If you have 4 or more markers on this card, when you play this card, draw 1 card. So essentially you'll burst 1 and then draw, just for playing this with 4 markers. And then as the second auto, once per turn, if it's your turn, when a card is placed into your drop area from your deck, like milling from Burst for example, add a marker to this card, then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and it gains plus 15k power for the turn. So, I mean, minus 15k power, because this is to your opponent's battle card. Minus 15k power for the turn, so you can drastically weaken a battle card or KO battle card with that effect. And then it has the -4 ability, where this card gains 5k power and triple attack for the turn, so it'll be a 20k. They can attack 3 times, so it's very useful. Obviously, help you bypass negates, being able to attack more than once. Plus, it helps you bypass the leader attack restriction. So that's what this is mainly for. Is for that specific effect, being able to attack 3 times. So pretty good late game. As a finisher, then we have Piccolo Jr. Auto. When your opponent activates a counter skill, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with 15k power or less and KO it. So another reusable way of controlling your opponent's board of any small problematic battle cards. Then it has a +1 ability to draw a card. You don't gotta keep that hand advantage. And it's a 15k body. That's mainly what we use it for those 2 effects. Already mentioned, baby. Jiren Legend of Universe 11 has the auto, but when your opponent plays a battle card or unison card, you may choose that card and it gets minus 10k power for the turn. If you do negate the skill for the turn, so essentially you can only use this once a turn on either player's turn, which is nice. +1 Active main ability, this card gains double strike for the turn, so it's a 20k double strike on your turn. And of course, gaining those markers are useful because of the fact that you can obviously transfer them over with Empower or use them for Spirit Burst, obviously. So, obviously, Jiren along with Sin Shinron is a good combination because this would be your sword and this can be your shield, you know, back and forth, or both of them can be your sword, right? And then Jiren can be the shield because of his auto and then his -3 active battle ability, which is choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and it gets -25k power for the turn. So you can potentially -35k to one, you know, individual battle card. So that always comes in handy. Because it's a 20k body, so definitely take advantage of that. And being, you know, able to get double strike comes in handy if you need to knock off markers off your opponent's unison. Vegito, we mainly use it for it's -2, which is until the end of your opponent's next turn. If your opponent would play a battle card using any skill, it is placed into drop area instead. So it comes in handy, you know, against stuff like overall and stuff like that, arrival play. But it's -5. You know, obviously, if your opponent's down to 1 life and they have no battle cards in their battle area, you can deal them 1 damage by -5 from this card. So it in itself is a win combo use, right? And that's the end of the video.